raise your voice in such a way that there's a harmony and a melody with others, then the collective performance, the collective struggle, collective solidarity is different. Unanimity is just following a Pied Piper. See, that's not Count Basie, that's not Duke. That's not James Brown. And James could be harsh on the musicians, we know that. But he know what, when Maceo wants to blow his horn, and Clyde Stubblefield wants to get the drummer song, he gonna allow them to do what they got to do. Then he say that, he said that, Cliff, play a little Train for me on Superbad, Superbad. And we talking about Coltrane, play a little Coltrane on Superbad. James Brown, listen to jazz. James Brown is jazz. Coltrane is James Brown. That's our tradition. So that what we need is what Mary Lou Williams' band had. What did they have? They had trust of one another. Trust doesn't fall from the sky. You got to spend time together. It's like when you fall in love, you got to try to trust each other. I ain't going to go there and quit meddling. But you got to trust each other. Now, how do you trust one another? Well, you have to have people who are bringing people together, just like this brother right here. There's no way he could be here as long as he is without having people who trust and love him in order for him to both raise his voice so he can facilitate raising the voices of others. Is that a fair characterization, brother? But see, that's what leadership is all about. But too often, again, you see, if you have a peacock mentality and it's just all about spectacle and it's just all about you, then you're not going to generate any trust. So no matter how long you are there in your leadership position, you're not planting any seeds. You're not generating something outside of your own ego. And so you end up with disunity. Now, let us be very honest about this. So many of our great black leaders, and leaders ain't nothing but those who love the people. That's what the definition of greatness is. When Malcolm got shot, he only had $151 in his pocket. I'm going to be right there in Audubon Room just a few days from Juneteenth, right when he was shot. Martin Luther King Jr. couldn't pay his life insurance. Thank God Harry Belafonte was able to pay it for him. So we're not talking about money. We're talking about spiritual and moral richness and greatness. And they loved the people over time enough to generate a trust because they earned it. And then people were willing to. But usually leaders like that get assassinated, incarcerated. Mumia Abu-Jamal, H. Rap Brown right now. Jamil, absolutely. So many others. The Ella Bakers and Fannie Lou Hamer's beating Fannie Lou Hamer down. Hardly use her right eye. She just keeps smiling and singing her song. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Where do you get that kind of spirit? Oh, I come from a people that got Pharaoh on both sides, but watch the way that we gonna create. Trust, trust, trust. People with integrity and quality. It's hard to find that, you see. We've had some politicians like that, and I'm glad to have the politicians in the House. And I do want to salute you, because I don't believe in any kind of homogeneous critiques of a whole group. I'm talking about some of the dominant tendencies within that group. But you can have people of integrity in elected office. But they know they have to be in the world, but not of the world. Because they know the dominant tendencies of what they're wrestling with. Am I being honest, my elected officials? Yeah. Am I being honest? That's why it's a blessing to have y'all. Give it up again for our brothers. Give it up, absolutely. We got a history of Harold Washington. We got a history of Adam Clayton Powell Jr. We got a history of Shirley Chisholm. We got a history of politicians that tried to be true. But it's harder and harder to find them. It really, really is. I know my dear sister Nina Turner from Cleveland might be here later on. I love my dear sister Nina in so many different ways. And her father, her beloved father.
He's here. He's here.
What? Oh.
Brother, good God Almighty. I haven't seen you for a little while. You're looking wonderful. God bless you. God bless you.
So we're going to start on the sister side. For any sisters that have any questions, any of our ladies that would have any questions for Dr. West.
I just want to say, Dr. West, I don't know what we're going to do with you. but we're going to help you campaign, okay? Okay.
God bless you.
You're right there.
That's our mother.
Because if you guys start breaking out with the dramatics and the intruders
Oh,
and all
Lord.
the Masala, we about to have a party.
We about to have a party.
We about to have a party.
Hey, you, get off my mama. Ooh-wee. My dear sister.
I go back a little bit. I don't just look like this for no reason.
Oh, indeed, I salute you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Not just for Dr. West, but for council members, councilman. I would like to know, as a member of the community and of the citizens of America, when are you all going to do something about student loans for black people and for everyone, because it's killing us. We really cannot get a break because of student loan, and there's billions of dollars going to Ukraine, nobody helping us. And not just that, there's a lot of people out here that are suffering. This is real, that is happening. And I know council members are supposed to be advocates for the people. So, we the people don't really have a voice. Our voice is through you guys as council members. And we are expecting council members to go to Congress and speak for us with Congress people so they could change what is going on, because it is real out here. You may not face it every day, you per se, but people are facing real life struggle out here. Real life struggle. People are homeless. When you go down to the tax office, if you even try to own a home and you go down to the tax office, they're pumping up your taxes on your own, whether you're retired or not, they don't care. And nothing has been done for the people. So now it is not about Congress and all, it's about the people. But it's never ever about the people with the government, and I don't understand. I mean, my heart goes out to Palestine, but for 400 years my people been dying in the street. Up to today we are still slaves. We're living in an open prison. And I don't understand. How comes people say we vote and everything should be okay, but everything is never okay? I don't understand. But yet still, when it's time for election, we're supposed to elect you guys, but you're not working for us. It's like you're working against us. I don't understand. I have to speak my mind. I'm sorry. I don't mean to make
Oh, no, lift every voice. Lift every voice out there, sister.
I am a Jamaican. And when I came to this country, everybody wants to come to America because the dream is, oh, you're going to make something of yourself. Better than where you're coming from. Not that where you're coming from is the worst, but I'm just saying financially, you're going to be stable. I know it was a lie, but I'm saying I didn't know it was such a lie. You know what I mean? And I'm saying, this is a country that is supposed to say, oh, this is a country that says, oh, we're the king of the world. But now, when your people are suffering like this, what kind of kings are you? I don't get it. It makes no sense to me.
Thank you
So
so
I'm
much.
just saying,
Thank you so much.
and this is compassion for me by saying, listen, I don't see it. I don't see the help that people are supposed to get. I'm telling you, even in the mayor tax office you go, the tax are putting up more taxes than taxes, saying that you owe taxes, but they're piling on taxes saying because you didn't pay that time, it comes up this. I don't get it.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you, sister. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'd like to address it. The pain that you are expressing is a real pain. People are suffering.
That's right. That's right.
But what I want us to get into the habit of doing as being the people is that we must be knowledgeable about the process. If you're not knowledgeable about the process, you'll be blaming somebody that you shouldn't be blaming. For example, City Council has nothing to do with student loans. Absolutely nothing. The city council members can't do nothing but write a letter just like you to Congress. Now, your congressperson, Chantel Brown is our congressperson, right? That's a conversation that should be had with her. But a lot of our problems, I think, in our community as a former councilman is that we're not putting our passion in the right way. So we walk into the room and we automatically point the finger at someone and put them down when they could have been a supporter of yours. But you've already kicked them to the side because you just didn't understand the process. So what I'm saying to you and to myself is the power is in the people. And a passion like yours, sister, is so important, and especially if pointed in the right direction, a lot of change can take place. And this is a very, very important. So, but as far as Dr. West, who's running for president, this is definitely a conversation that you can answer. How do you plan to address, as president, how do you address it? Because I know about, raise your hand if you know about student loans. I can talk about that. Okay, listen. You talk about Morehouse, boy, they still looking for me. You understand? So I understand that. I definitely want to acknowledge our sister. Please make some noise for Senator Nina Turner. Please make some noise for our sister. Thank you so much.
No, but I like the way you broke that down because our dear sister was just so powerful in what she had to say.
See, the first thing people have to do is be free enough to tell the truth. That we live in a country that is predicated on the efficacy of lies. They didn't tell the truth about indigenous people. They just said, there's no human beings there, it's just buffaloes and Indians. Well, let me tell you something. That indigenous brothers and sisters around the world are human beings as anybody else. So it was a lie about slavery. Oh, we're a country of liberty. You got 22% of the inhabitants of your nation who are not just enslaved, dignified Africans, but can't express themselves politically and economically, but they're going to create some spirituals that the whole world's going to listen to until the end of time. So you're looking for the lies. But then you try to follow the lies. Usually if you follow a lie long enough, it's going to lead to a crime. Because when you get the connection of organized greed and weaponized hatred, you get lies hiding crimes. And so when we talk about politics, you never just begin with voting. If all black people did was just vote, we'd still be enslaved Jim Crow. And we still too often brutalized by police, murdered by police. And we often have so much white supremacy inside of ourselves that we don't treat each other with respect. See what I mean? Yeah. And so part of the challenge is, when we talk about student loans, you're going to have people in the street mobilized to bring that issue to bear on a political system that will look the other way if the people are not mobilized. That's how you move from Jim Crow Cleveland to Jim Crow Junior Cleveland. Because Cleveland's still Jim Crow Junior. But Jim Crow legalized was something else. And there was tremendous struggle in Cleveland like any place else to push it back. But then there was the permanent government. What is the permanent government of Cleveland? Big business. We pushed through David Dinkins in New York City, and we would break dancing the whole afternoon, making MC Hammer look like a Boy Scout. And then David Dinkins had a meeting with the permanent government in New York, and they told him, if you do half of your program, we are leaving your town and moving to Connecticut. You have no economic base for your taxes, and you won't have any resources of significance to even distribute. And all of a sudden, David Dinkins, he may have been feeling as if he was Bobby Brown, but he came back looking thoroughly neutralized. I said, dang, what happened to your fire in your spirit, man? And these folk put it to me. I said, well then when the organized money is that powerful, all we got left other than God is organized people. Just like the powerful speeches that Sister Nene used to give and still gives. Organized people versus organized money. But organized money will buy anybody no matter what color, no matter what gender. And if you need millions of dollars for your campaign and you broke the 10 Commandments financially, there's a good chance you're going to get locked into your donors. And your donors will put a noose around your neck. So you can't say ceasefire in the face of precious Palestinians getting killed because you're scared, you're intimidated, and you're afraid.
Yes, City Council.
Just scared. Now, I believe in honesty. I don't mind folk coming out and saying, I wish I could do something more progressive and radical, but I'm scared and therefore I'm going to sell my soul. Pray for me. I appreciate that honesty, but don't walk out there and act as if you Malcolm X's second cousin on the cutting edge of justice and you sold your soul for a mess of pottage. Tell people the truth. Respect them enough to tell the truth. That's what Harold Washington did when he got into Chicago. He said, look, I got all of these white supremacy and capitalist elites coming at me, and I got all these precious upstate Mississippi Chicagoans supporting me. If y'all don't remain organized and put pressure to give me some wiggle room, they're going to devour my soul. Because they got organized money. And they keep at it over and over and over. And when you point it out, then they start calling your name.
Come on.
You must be anti-American. I've been here 12 generations. When did you get here? 1935? That's what I thought.
Hello, sir.
And a lot of folks just got here in 1935, don't even want some of the new immigrants to get in. Ain't that something? Of course, we go on and on. If it wasn't for the Black Freedom Movement in 1965 with the Immigration Act, where it was only Western Europeans who could get in between 1924 and 1965 because they had a white supremacist criteria. So if you're from other parts of the world, you couldn't get in. But after 1965, a whole wave of folk from all around the world could get in because black people struggling for justice for everybody, not just the chocolate side, everybody. And then sometimes, the immigrants get here, they start looking at us. Hey, you wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for our struggle. But what's the reality? White supremacy cuts so deep that you could even be from Africa. Beautiful, magnificent African man or woman. And look at black folk in Cleveland and see white supremacist stereotypes of black people and have a certain arrogance toward them. And it goes the other way too. You could be a black person in Cleveland and you run into a beautiful African man or woman from Ghana, and you got Tarzan's films all going through your mind. Now all these racist films about Africans and all these lies about Africans because we're looking at each other through white supremacist lens.
Yes, sir.
And how do we revel in each other's humanity? You got to break the back of white supremacy. How do you break the back? Tell the truth. Because white supremacy is a lie. Right. You got to tell. Then you got to organize, build the trust. Back to the question again. Building that trust. And then push. Now, in the end, there is a possibility that the powers that be could try to kill all of us. Yes, sir. Gangster the gangster.
Yes, sir.
But that's not in our control. We're going to love our children. We're going to love the memories of our grandmamas and our granddaddies and our mamas and daddies in the face of whatever is coming our way. And if you're not willing to do that, then you ought to be honest with yourself and say, I'm just a lukewarm professional concerned about my career. I'm not a freedom fighter. I don't know why you put that on me. I'm not a love warrior. No. I only care on every other week. I believe in philanthropy. I don't believe in justice. I believe in charity. I'll give you some nice money as long as I'm controlling things, as long as you're beholding to me. I tell you, one of the reasons why our black organization could hardly say a mumbling word about Gaza, because you got white elite money dictating their flow and budget in such a way that they can't be free. Can you imagine Curtis Mayfield walking up with his guitar that his grandmother taught him to tune, and she only used the black keys for a whole host of theological reasons, but not racial. And Curtis Mayfield walk up there and say, well, I got Pat Boone nooses around my neck. I want to sound like Pat Boone because I make more money. No, Curtis gonna be free, gonna be himself. Pat Boone, get out of the way. I ain't got no obstacles, no constraints whatsoever. I'm gonna sing a song for these people that allows them to sustain their unbelievable sense of possibility and potentiality given the history they come from. Thank you, Curtis. Thank you, Curtis. And keep in mind, how many Grammys did Curtis Mayfield win? 0. How many Sam Cooke win? 0. How many Sly Stone win? 0. How many Milli Vanilli win? 2.
They took those.
And the way they took them back when they found out they were lip singing. But all I'm saying is you can't depend on the white mainstream for approval. That's the point. We pick our leaders, our heroes, our sheroes, our examples. People say James Cleveland can't sing. Based on what? He touched my heart. Charles Fole from Lincoln Heights Missionary Baptist Church, right outside of Cincinnati where the Isley brothers grew up. Don't tell me Ron Isley can't sing. Or Ron Banks.
All right,
Or
now.
DJ Reynolds. Oh, yes. Brother Hutchins and sisters of the emotions. Don't tell me they can't sing. What criteria you using? We got our own criteria.
That's right.
But most of Black America, and especially young people, if you don't have access to that rich history and tradition, then you're going to view yourself through the lens of the white mainstream. And that's always disempowering.
Yes, sir.
Always. Because if your mind and your spirit's not free, it's going to be impossible for you to be a freedom fighter
Come on now.
for people who've been taught to hate themselves.
That's right.
And the only thing that breaks the back of fear and hatred
Huh.
is love.
Yeah.
Love supreme. That's Marvin Gaye. Love, the real thing, love. I ain't talking about that little Hollywood version. The real thing. I know that's a long answer to the question, but it's a crucial one. Because see, one of our challenges is when we talk about politics, we do need to understand the process and the institutions, but we also have to have a spirit such that courage and bravery and consistency and constancy play a crucial role. That's the only thing that constitutes a threat to the powers that be. Much too long.
Beautiful, beautiful. Brother, stand up. Behind you, yeah.
I just wanted to ask, as a council member, maybe educating the woman on what council members can do within the community. That way she's empowered as well.
Yeah, definitely. But that's a whole nother conversation. This is not a time, we can talk afterwards about city council and that, but this is for Dr. West to speak about running for president. But as far as city council, we have enough members in here to have some dialogue for sure. All right, so.
As community leaders, how do we
what would you suggest how we are going to grab more people to support you? You know, sometimes I know they hear me, and then we start talking about politics. Sometimes I lose them, you know, because they're trying to get help. Now I'm saying, come on, let's vote and all this other stuff. So what do you suggest how I can lead them better to understand what we need to do?
Appreciate it. And I mean, the good news is that we do have so many persons like yourself who have a genuine commitment out of compassion to be of service to others in the community. Now that's the slice that you want to work with. You see, I'm not somebody who is obsessed with quantity.
That's right.
I'm into quality.
Yeah.
See, as a Christian, I'm not impressed with mega churches. Because if they ain't got no mega courage and mega love, then it's empty.
Amen.
I want folk that got courage, love, activists, courage, love, and then be able to respect the people enough to get inside of their world so that the communication can be genuine and they can see the connection between what we're trying to do with the campaign and their situation as they're wrestling from paycheck to paycheck or wrestling with a variety of different issues, housing and student loans and a whole host of other things. Got the sisters dealing with infant mortality rates that are comparable to those in Bangladesh, and the richest nation in the history of the world. That's another spiritually obscene reality. So we had to be able to speak to that. When you look on our platform, we say we're not just for universal health care, we want universal health care and justice. Because sometimes it could be black sisters have certain kinds of needs that the doctors need to be sensitive to. That's different than other, and on and on and on. It's a matter of the justice and the need. It's not some abstract formulation based on somebody else's experience, you see. And so in that sense, we do have a wonderful group. Would you say so, brother? Wonderful group of volunteers and so on. And we are really, we really are on the move. We surprise a lot of people. We don't.
My dear brother, respected, honored brother, welcome once again to our masjid, and I've been following your career for some time. And I'd like to ask you, why do you want to be President of the United States of America?
Ooh, that's a profound question, brother. That's a profound question. Because my fundamental want is not to be president. I want people to be free. I want people to be able to live lives of decency and dignity. And so I'm open to a calling so that whatever gifts and capacities I have, they can be used by powers greater than me to be of service to the people. And that's what it's been for 50 years. In the cell, in the classroom, in the street, in the church, in the mosque, and as I said, in the nightclub. That call is constant. In a particular moment in which the electoral political system provides a context in which, as Cat Williams would say, Cat is from Dayton, isn't he? I don't want to drag him into Cleveland, don't but as Cat Williams would say, in a year in which you're going to rip off the veil and find the truth about things, be it Gaza, be it Wall Street, be it certain politicians or whatever, that as one who tries to be a truth teller and a justice seeker, I find myself responding to a call to run for justice and theologically to run for Jesus.
Amen.
Because I'm a Christian. You see, if I was a Muslim, I'm running for Allah. In whatever context I'm in. Politics, economics, baseball, football, whatever it is. Because you got to be true to who you are. And running for justice and running for Jesus to be able to highlight a truth and seek a spotlight on poor and working people here and around the world, I end up running for president. Now, what does it mean to be president? To be president means you head of the American empire. Now, I'm running to dismantle the American empire. I'm an anti-imperialist. We don't need 800 military units around the world. We don't need 62 cents for every $1 going to the military. We don't need 130 special operations in 130 countries. We need to be a nation among nations. We don't need to be an empire with dominance of every nook and cranny of the world. We're headed toward World War III. Both parties are in consensus. Russia, China, and the Middle East overflowing more and more, moving toward World War III. How come? Because the American empire still thinks they got to dominate everybody. That's spiritually sick. It's morally empty. And as I said about the United States being the 68th empire out of 70, every empire thought they could dominate the whole world. And they usually collapse based on military overreach, corruption of their elites, citizens feeling helpless, hopeless, and then a tyrant coming along and thinking they can lead, and it leads toward the crumbling of the empire. That's what we're experiencing right now. Just telling the truth. Somebody tell the truth. And you say to yourself, well, it's hard for folk on a national and international level these days just to be honest enough to tell the truth. It really is. We saw the elections in South Africa. Mandela turning over in his grave. Just like Martin King, Fannie Lou Hamer, turning over in their grave. Gerald Levert set the highest standards of soul singing. Where are the young artists with the soulfulness of a Gerald Levert? Hard to find. You got some of these young folk out here, and I love my young folks to death, but I tell them, you're singing out of tune. I'm making $1 million. I'm not worried about how much money you're making. You're not hitting the right note. Nat King Cole and Carmen McRae and Dinah Washington hit the right notes, child. You come from a tradition of people who hit the right note. If they didn't sing for the money. Because if you hit that right note in such a way, you can touch somebody's soul so that when they go home, they're not so down and out no more. That's what you're singing for. That's the calling. And all I'm doing is just building on the genius and the talents of the standards set by so many of our black musicians and freedom fighters and others to be true to oneself and hit the right notes and tell the truth and then see what God's going to do with it. Because we don't know what is happening. There's a good chance that Trump's on the way to jail. Good chance. Because he's so impulsive, he's going to get up there and cuss out the judge before the judge didn't get a chance to say a word. Because he's out of control. He's been out of control for 42 years. There's a good chance Biden will drop out. Because I know in the Democratic Party, they have internal conflict right now. They know they don't have the most charismatic candidate. He got the charisma of a dead fish in many ways. And I'm not talking about his age. I'm going to get old too. I ain't no spring chicken. Everybody gets old. But I'm talking about the stances that you take and the integrity that you have and quit lying about what's going on in the Middle East and God East. That's what I'm saying. So that's what it means to run for president for a particular brother like me. Because the presidency is secondary and tertiary. If there was a way that I could make a major substantive contribution this particular moment that have immediate impact on empowering poor people and black people and other folk, I'd do something else. I don't know what else to do. You know what I mean? I don't know what else to do. This is what I've been trained to do. Talk, write, hit the streets, go to jail, and bring my Bible in my pocket to the nightclub.
Oh my God.
I take Jesus with me everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. But that's just who I am. And everybody else got different calling. Everybody's who they are, not somebody else. And you should never try to be somebody that you're not. Because you can't be somebody that you ain't. And that's true for each and every one of us. And we learned that from the anthem of black folk, among other things. You lift every voice. Oh, it's like a fingerprint. Just you.
I see you, Auntie. I see you. I'm coming to you. Yeah, I come here. Before we, we're going to take two sisters, and we're going to take a couple, and then we get ready to close. I'm sure you would like to take some pictures with Dr. West. A couple of things that I would hope that we can accomplish today. We are collecting signatures. For those who are volunteering with the campaign, please raise your hand. Our volunteers, thank you. I see you, brother. I'm coming to you. Our volunteers, we thank you all. Raise your hand, brother. You got the shirt on. Yep, so our brother right here is volunteering. But also, my goal is, man, I told Dr. West, there's no way you're going to come to Cleveland and not leave with no resources. You see, a lot of times we talk about, we applaud a Dr. West from afar. We appreciate you for putting your whole life on the line. But when it's time for us to put our lives on the line, we don't follow suit. And we all can do things in different ways. Everybody don't have to be a speaker, everybody don't have to run in politics, everybody don't have, whatever the case may be. But you can do something. So our goal is, before we get up out of here, close the door, brother. That's why I got the security right here. We're not leaving out of here, no, but we want to be able to raise at least $10,000 toward the campaign for Dr. West. And if you can help me, match me, I'm going to be the first 1,000 to put in for Dr. West. And if you can assist me, and guess what? Even if you don't have 1,000, you don't need to have 1,000. If you have $1, we understand that when you plant the seed, you get the crops. You don't lose the seed. Right. Especially for us who are followers of the Muslim faith, we know that we are in a very special time of Dhul Hijjah, which means like the possessor of the Hajj. Our brothers and sisters of the Muslim faith are on Hajj. They're on a pilgrimage right now. So we're fasting with them. We're giving resources, so forth and so on. If you believe in what Dr. West is talking about, if you truly believe it, we're asking you to invest in it. We're asking you to put some resources to it. You don't have to have a whole bunch of money. It's not necessary to have a whole bunch of money. What's necessary is that you plant the seed. You know, Dr. West and I and Kiana, you can do cash, we take EBT, all that. Don't be acting like that. I'm trying to find some stamps right now. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Come on, bring them book of stamps back. That's how we used to be president, Dr. West. You know, but please, I ask you to please make a donation. Make a donation, whether it's $1 or $1,000. And we have some stuff right here. That's why I love you, Los, man. I see you, man. Come up here for a second, bro. Please, I know what you want to do, man. Please, man. I know you got something that you want to give, man. I know you one of the first that's going to join me in making this. I know it, Los. This is, man. I know you're going to make a donation, man. All right. So please, man, if you can make that donation, put those resources in. I'm putting my first 1,000 in. Los, you going to join me with that, man? You're going to join me with that? I bet, man. So if you got any resources you can put towards the campaign. Wouldn't you would love to see a Dr. West on a campaign, on a debate stage?
Hey, yo.
Can you imagine Dr. West, Joe Biden, and Donald Trump debating? Oh my God.
I want to see it.
So I want to do something real quick, man. I'm putting in the first 1,000, man. I want to get this done real quick, man. We're going to do 10 times. I don't want to see no IOUs. I want to see none of that. I promise, Dr. West, that if you come to my city, I promise you, you're not going to leave the city without being taken care of, man. If you can join me in putting 1,000 in toward the campaign, just raise your hand, please. I want him to see the support that he got. Raise your hand. We got 1,000 right here. Let's get to 10 real quick. That's 1. I got 2. If you scratch your nose, that's you. That's worth $500. $500. Now, some of y'all can do more than 1,000, and I know you can. All right? And the majority is right here, by the way. I ain't talking about that. I gave them their props, but y'all know that y'all got the money. I saw the cards that y'all pulling up there. So I'm going to put you on blast, Los. But this brother right here, I wanted to make sure that I brought him up here, man. My brother Los, man, he recently, you mind if I talk a little bit? Our brother, man, he just returned home a couple of months ago, man. He was behind those walls. He just returned home. One of the most conscious brothers that I know here in the city, man. He's one of my closest brothers, you know. We actually went to high school together. You can't tell, man, but he was a crazy basketball player back then. Man, he could jump out the gym. But Los, man, when it comes to, especially on that St. Clair 105 area, man, that's his area right there, man. He invited me out the other day. He did a big old celebration, Dr. West, where he invited the whole community out. And people came out, the kids, they were safe, and that's the message I want to give to my brothers who are here from the different neighborhoods. Moonlight, I see you, man. Like, we have to protect our neighborhoods. Our grandparents, our children, they should not feel unsafe in their neighborhoods. And what I love, man, we was over there with Los, and you know what I mean? If you're from the neighborhood, if you're from where we from, most of us, you know, I ain't talking about Shaker, you know what I'm talking about. If you from where we from, you can look and tell the energy. You know who's who, right? And to look and see all the people who came to support this brother, it was like, wow. If this brother said go this way, just like Malcolm, they gonna go that way. And for him to have them do the right thing, taking care of the babies, the women was feeling safe, the elders was out there. I just want to just openly say to you, I appreciate what you're doing for your community, brother. And I love you, man. I love you, man. I appreciate you, man. And for everybody else out there in your neighborhoods, we urging you to do the same thing. And as Dr. West said, we all have our own role.
That's right.
But whatever your role is, it got to be done with courage.
That's right.
If you're a writer, like Rhonda Crowder, it got to be written with courage. If you are a businessman or a businesswoman, whatever your position is, it got to be done with courage, man. You know what I'm saying? And it can't be done with fear. And, you know, Lowe's, man, I'll close with this. He always called, this Bumpy Johnson, he called me Malcolm X. You know what I mean? I ain't no Malcolm, but he got that bumpy vibe, for sure. But the beautiful part about it is that when I'm going through issues and struggles, I go sit down at Culture with Claude. Wow. For those who know Harvard Wine and Grill in that whole area, Claude owner, I would go sit down with him and talk to him about life. Just because you have these business people or people who are, whatever your situation is, we all can still support one another. Yes. We don't all have to always agree in order for us to stand with each other. You know what I'm saying? So I want to openly say to you that if we ever had any issues, I apologize to you. Because sometimes when you're in this fight, I promise I'm coming to you, brother. I don't even want you to waste your energy. I promise I'm coming. Sometimes when you're in this fight, like I was telling my brother, man, Councilman Richard Starr, come up here, Councilman, come here for a second, man. I don't know if y'all, this is the freshman councilman right here. I don't know if you all heard about the councilman who, and that's your fraternity brother too. That's your fraternity brother too. Yeah. I don't know if you heard about the story of, you know, okay, I ain't going there.
My lawyer took care of that.
Okay, good, okay. The current administration had hired a person to be over safety, and come to find out in DC, they got into a federal issue because of civil rights because of arresting a black elderly couple. And this brother right here was on fire. He was making sure that people understood what was going on, and no matter who the administration is, there is no way that you're going to be able to treat the people in that way and put somebody in place who don't understand our community and where we come from. Yes. And Councilman Richard Starr, who comes from the central area, man, this brother, man, he took it to a whole other level, took it to him. And then, as a result of that, they released that gentleman and let him go on his way. So, it's people like this and people like this who have to understand that your positions don't necessarily have to determine your perspective on one another, because we need each other. Right. Bumpy needed Malcolm and Malcolm needed Bumpy. Right. We all need each other. Right. I need Chris. And Chris needs me. I need Jimmy. I need these people. Because when they come at us, they coming at all of us. So I understand your pain, sister. I understand what you're saying. I promise I do. But more importantly than the pain is, how do we take that pain and turn it into action? Yeah. And the reason why we're not going to that next level, because we in pain, we don't recognize that we are taking that pain out on the wrong people. Yes. And there's people who are part of corporate Cleveland who rock with what we rock with. For my entertainers in here, my Plinko, stand up, man. Hype. For my rappers and entertainers, rap. If you rap, sing, dance, whatever, come on, stand up. These are brothers, man, who are, here we go. These are brothers and sisters who people are doing great work, but if we can just work together, it don't matter if you're black, white, it don't matter about that. It matters about our consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to just highlight y'all, man. Give y'all that love, man. Appreciate it. I love you, brother. I love you, bro. I love you. All right, man. So if you want to get that money, on that money, no, don't give it to me. Okay, we can put it right here. Don't put it in his hand. Don't put it in his hand. That's a charge right there. Don't do that. There we go. There we go. Put it in here. But Lowe's, you gotta fill out. So this is how you're gonna do it. When you make your donation, you have your joint right there. You can fill it out if you're gonna put cash. You want to use a card. You got a QR card on the side of the on the listening. Use that. I don't want to leave out of here without us at least raising $10,000. Okay. All right, big brother, please help me out and show off that. Okay. But don't put it in like that because every donation got to be accounted for.
I'll put it down.
Okay. Yeah. Because y'all know, I know people say he getting Trump money. He not getting Trump money. He getting money. Here we go. All right. Last two. Okay. Oh, matter of fact, let's get it real quick. If you got some resources, write it down. Write it down. Put your money in there. I don't care if it's a quarter. Do that for Dr. West. We appreciate it. Auntie, go ahead, Auntie. What's your question, Auntie? Go ahead.
Almost forgot it.
We got to put
But
Yes.
we're just having a thing between good and evil. So if you're running for president, so what would you do for the people and God would be pleased with you to do for the people?
Let me answer that for you, please, because I can answer that for you.
We both can't hear you.
Okay.
But I appreciate that question, my dear sister.
This is why this is important, Auntie, and for everybody here. The mission is to make Dr. West seem like he's just new on the scene. Dr. Cornel West is not new on the scene. Dr. Cornel West has been doing this work for over 50 years. And I was so mad seeing them asking him these ridiculous type of questions of why he's doing it. Dr. Cornel West been doing this work. And we've been traveling across the country, just like we was on 79th and Huff Street. Everywhere we go, we in the hoods. Man, people hop out. They know Dr. West. They love him. So I want to say to you, don't get caught into that political, and I'm not talking to you right now, Auntie, because you know how much I love you. I'm not talking about you. But I'm saying for those who are using the political tactics of the Democrats and the Republicans, saying why he don't deserve it, as if he is new to this fight. And I wanted to say it for him because he's humble, but I want to say it for him is that he's been fighting on behalf of our community. And let me say this to the Muslims. I got to say this to the Muslims. Yo, there's nobody who has been speaking up more for issues of what's happening in Palestine, the issues of what Muslims have been dealing with across this country. No person has been speaking up more on behalf of our community who isn't Muslim like Dr. Cornel West. So why aren't we getting more involved in giving our resources and doing what we need to do to stand up for him? This is ridiculous. Don't get involved in those Republican, Democratic. You know, Malcolm said they both the same. They both the same. Go ahead. Yes.
Dr. West, it's truly an honor and privilege to just be in your presence. I grew up watching you. When I came in, I almost cried. My mother is so mad she can't be here. And if I were to bestow upon you an Islamic name, it would be Hakeem. Because it comes from the word hikmah means wisdom. And that's what you did for us. It is a political question only because, you know, to ask all the questions I have regarding your legacy would be too late. So to address specifically why you're here, your platform is very similar to the Party of Socialism for Claudia and
I'm gonna go to her.
I saw them on my first.
Yeah, it ain't deep enough.
However, I appreciate how on your website it was much more detailed. You have things like a $27 minimum wage, ending poverty, reparations. The PSL pledges to cut military funding by 90% to fund these things. And I was wondering how would you fund them? And basically, why should I vote for you over Claudia de la Cruz? And not just because, you know, I have genuine love for you. So that's enough for me to draw myself to you. But, you know, cis is black as well. You know, cis stands for things that regards myself. You know, so it's just not my love for you that I want that I think should be enough for me to cast my vote. And I'm not voting for genocide. I'm not voting lesser of two evils. So this is very important. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. That was fun.
I just want to thank you for such a loving spirit that you approached that question. Because I just feel so empowered and ennobled from the way you asked the question. And that's very important. Sometimes the how can be as important as the content and the what. So I salute you very much so. Very much so. No, my dear sister Claudia, I've only met her once. I know that she's a very distinguished graduate of the seminary where I teach, Union Theological Seminary. Where's my dear sister? I just keep an eye on you. Yeah. And so I just don't know her that well, but we were on a panel, and I have great respect for her and what she's talking about. There's strong overlap from what she's talking about, very much so. And so when you raised this, well, what's the difference then between me and Sister Claudia? I don't know her well enough. The program and the platforms overlap in significant ways. My program is not really tied so much to an ism. You see, I'm a little suspicious of isms. It's a little bit too abstract for me. I just say truth, justice, love. Boom. But when you tease out what she means by the ism, you find some truth. You find some justice, and you find some love, very much so. And so then it comes back to you and say, well, God, they seem to be so similar. I got to come down one way or the other. And I would say, well, my case would be that I think at this particular historical moment, I might be able to more effectively say some of the things that both of us are saying in such a way that it has more visibility, it has more efficacy, and it has more overlapping impact, not just here, because in America, the empire affects the whole world. See, so when I speak, as much as I'm running for the campaign in this country, I'm speaking for poor and working people around the world, in Africa, in the Caribbean, in Latin America. Now she is too. You see. So that it would be really that latter point that I think would separate myself from her. And of course, I'm much older. She's just a brilliant sister. She's younger and she's got tremendous energy and creativity, but I've been around longer. And therefore there is a possibility, because sometimes age just makes you more cowardly and stupid, But sometimes age can make you more wise, just like that name you so lovingly gave me. Now I know I'm unworthy of the name you gave me, but it is something that I will highly prize coming from your heart and soul, because I've always wanted to be someone who could be loving and wise and service oriented so that I could be true to what my calling is. So thank you so much for your question.
We're going to take last two, okay? Brother, go ahead, brother.
With all due respect, on the political views of the black man in America, I really don't get into all this white America this, black America this, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Deep down inside, as far as these youths out here, I'm gonna ask you, the disrespect that it is today's women and men today, they have no morals, no guidance, they have no type of dignity. What's your insight as far as giving them guidance? It's like giving back to them, because I see today they lost. They look towards the actors, the rappers, social media.
Right.
So I'm saying, what is your intake as far as to say, how can you give us some type of reassurance? You know what I'm saying?
I hear exactly
And
what you're saying.
my second question is, with this same sex variety that they have going on, I don't bag that. You know what I'm saying? To each his own, what they do behind closed doors, but I'm saying, I don't believe that LGBT, rainbow society stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't support that. What you do as far as your own sexual things, is that. And the thing, my $1,000 go to my imam. Now, if he see fit for that, then he do it for that. My $1,000 in my pocket. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Right here, I'm giving to my imam right here.
Absolutely.
We appreciate that.
Mother, I salute you for that.
Not this right here. I would donate this, whatever it is to this, my $1,000 is going to my imam. You know what I'm saying? Now, he can get that to you as far as he sees fit. Now, I want you 2 questions asked.
Yeah.
Let me respond
No,
first.
I appreciate it.
I don't care who you want to ask. No, excuse me, man. I'm sorry. I know, but I want to be real clear with you. Be real clear with you, brother. Dr. West is our guest.
Okay, I understand.
Okay? And this masjid right here, we treat our guests very, very serious. And as Muslims, we treat our guests it's very serious, brother. It can send you to the hellfire how you treat your guests. Okay, brother? That's number 1. Number 2, not only the guest, but how you treat the elder. So nobody in here, okay, let me be clear, is going to be talked to him in any type of aggressive way. You understand? So let me just express it to you so you can understand what I'm saying. I want you to feel me. All right? When it comes to the elders and to the guests, we treat them in a certain way. We deal with them in a certain way. And especially a man who's been fighting on behalf of our community, we're going to speak to him in that type of manner. You understand what I'm saying, brother? So whatever you want to give, that's fine. That's cool. We appreciate it. But the most important thing to give is not your dollars, it's your love and your respect. That's the most important thing. You understand? I'm just speaking to you from the heart. I want you to feel me, that's all.
Christian or Muslim or Muslim or Christian?
I'm just Bashir. And I love you. And I'm giving it to you out of love. And that's one of our problems. One of our issues is that if we don't respect our elders, we can never be successful. Allah would not, let me just be clear, God would not bless you if you don't respect the elders. And I don't want you to feel like no type of way, because this is all love. Right? So I don't want you to feel like this is just love. But in our communities, how we deal with our elders is a big reason why the Creator sends spiritual consequences to us. And He's not going to say it because He's our guest and He's humble. But I'm going to say it to you because I want to say it in front of everybody. Because I want everybody to feel what I'm saying. And you don't have to agree or none of that, but I just want you to feel me. Any guest that we bring to the city of Cleveland, especially on the caliber of Dr. West, you're going to respect him. You're going to speak to him with respect. You're going to deal with him with respect. Or you're not allowed to be in the same place. It's just really that simple. If you can't respect Dr. West or respect any elder who put more work in before we was even born,
Come on, Bob.
how in the world can people speak to somebody who's been doing this work consistently before we was born? Now, you're going to respect them. It's just as simple as that. It's as simple as that, man. You understand? Imagine Dr. King coming in and somebody talking to Dr. King. What, man? What, man? Imagine how you would deal with somebody like that, man. What I'm telling you is, just give love, man. Just give respect. If you don't respect them, you don't like them, just be quiet. Just don't say that. Or just don't come to an event that says one-on-one conversation with Dr. Cornel West. You understand? This is very important to us, man. God would not bless us if we don't respect the elders and don't respect the young. All right? So this is my brother. I'm just meeting a brother, but I just want to make sure that I'm clear to everybody before you leave out this door that something could not happen and I was in the place and I didn't check it. Because then now God is holding me responsible. All right? So that's the message I want to send to everybody out of love.
That's kind
Out
of
of
like
love.
his question too.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that answers the
That's what the youth do right there. I got 15 years old, 21 years old, and when we have our conversations, and what goes in my face is when you're talking and the expression, the movement, you feel the bass in the court, the body language. So that part alone is how we break that. We show the younger people how to act in a manner. And I know, but
I ain't young.
Right.
How youth society do not
as me being one that was just locked up with the youth,
Go ahead and answer the question.
is how the
I
elders move,
said,
how they react.
we on the same page. I said, how can you
It was kind of a contradiction question, that's what I'm saying. No, you asking him.
But let me just jump in though, y'all. Will you just keep this love train going here? We're going to keep this love train going. But my dear brother, my dear brother, my dear brother.
You got it, Los. Listen, brother, you're gonna answer the question.
First, I just want to know, what's your name, my brother?
Brother Ali.
Brother Ali.
I said, how can I?
No, I heard your question, my
How can I
brother.
get your
Absolutely.
reassurance?
Right.
Your intake
That's right.
is that today's society does not support
That's right.
the elders, the women and children.
That's right.
Same thing you said. I come from the streets also.
No, absolutely.
I said, what is your insight on that?
Absolutely. And all I want to say is this, Brother Ali.
Appreciate you, brother.
But this is what I want to say, Brother Ali. One is that it's a blessing to set eyes on you, brother. And it's a blessing to be in conversation with you. And I want to say very directly, and I think I said this a little bit in my presentation. You say, how do you speak and act in such a way that you get people to believe in themselves, that have confidence in themselves, to respect themselves, and love and respect others who look like them, and then end up trying to love everybody no matter what they look like? That's a spiritual question. One of the reasons why we're in the mosque. The mosque is not fundamentally about political discussion. It's about the shaping of your soul, right? It's about the shaping of your character, so that you learn how to love yourself, respect yourself, and love others and respect others. And we only do that together. In dialogue, in struggle. And when I talked about what this campaign was about, you remember at the very beginning, when I talked about the role of the Spirit? You remember that? I was already trying to get at your question. Your question is a deep question, man. It's a powerful question. And you can imagine we could spend hours trying to answer. But the direction is how we're going to love and respect each other, how we love and respect ourselves, such that we can have conversation, community, and so forth. Now, when Bashir stepped up, he did that out of love too. Because he figured, the older brother looked like I might go, oh no, I'm all right with Brother Ali. I'm all right with Brother Ali. He's expressing himself. He's wrestling with the issues inside of him. And you can imagine people have a number of different questions. People could have 2 or 3 or 4 different questions. And I'm just zeroing primarily on the first because we're running late. But I just want you to know, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you all raised your question. I'm glad Bashir stepped up and spoke his heart and mind because he experienced a disrespect. And we don't want to disrespect anybody at all. I don't care who they are. You see. But it's also true in terms of the older and the younger and so forth, you see. And we wrestle with your question, and we're going to be wrestling with your question of how do we affirm, how do we support, how do we make sure we are there for others, especially the younger generation. Because you got to keep in mind, Brother Ali, it was just a few years ago, I was your age. And I was raising the same question. And I had to learn, listen, wrestle, struggle, cope in order to try to meet the standards of the older generation. You see the point I'm trying to make? But God bless you, my brother. God bless you, man.
Let's do one more lap. Streets, go ahead.
I want to know, nice to meet you, first of all. I want to know, how do you plan on getting the younger people to vote?
Well, I appreciate the question. One is I go where they are. Meet them where they are. You see. Hit the corner, radio, whatever context they are. I go to the mosque, you got wonderful young people in the mosque. I go to the church, you got some wonderful folk in the church. I go to the trade unions, got wonderful young folk in the trade unions. And of course, you know, I've been teaching for 55 years now, young people. And they right in the class. You see what I mean? And I told you before, I've been blessed to teach in prison. And most of the young folk who are there in prison, they take my classes, you see. And so I'm able to have that time. And I also learn and listen, just like I was learning and listening to Brother Ali, to make sure that we do have a kind of communication flow. And I think it's a beautiful thing. We don't always fundamentally grasp and understand. Sometimes I got to listen twice to Brother Ali formulated. He got a sharp mind, he got a subtle formulation, I got to work it through. But at the same time, we make sure that it's a flow in such a way that all of the love and respect, the compassion, the openness, the critical engagement is one that plays a very, very important role. Most young people in America don't vote at all. So it's a choice between the couch and the candidate. Because there's going to be a whole host of them that don't vote. 40% of all Americans who can vote don't vote. Because they figure the system is just so rotten. It's a waste of time. 62% of the folk who don't vote Democratic or Republican say they will never, ever, ever, in any circumstances, ever vote Democratic or Republican. Because they're tired of the two-party system. The two-party system is so narrow, tied to big money and big military, it gets in the way of democracy, you see. So that's really the question. But again, I don't want anybody to leave here thinking this is solely about voting. No. It's so much bigger than that, isn't it, sister? It's about what kind of human being you're going to choose to be in your short trek from your mama's womb to tomb.
Yes. That's right.
When you choose integrity and honesty and decency and truth-telling and justice seeking, you're not here that long. What kind of character do you choose? Or what are they going to say at your funeral? They ain't going to step up and talk about who you voted for at your funeral. They're going to talk about who you loved, who you served, who you sacrificed for, who did you touch, who did you grin, who did you hug, who did you push, who did you unsettle. Because that's at the spiritual and moral level. That's what we started with in this wonderful gathering. And that's where we need to end too. Because election's going to come and go. But the suffering, the social misery, the genocide, the mass incarceration, the young brothers and sisters that Brother Ali was talking about who look like they're out of control because they haven't been loved enough and they get caught up in market-driven culture, so they're obsessed with things and spectacle and image and how they look and they swag, and you say, hey, it's all superficial. It's on the surface. Thank God your grandmama didn't think that way. Or you wouldn't be here. If all she was talking about was her swag. My grandmother went to the 2nd grade. And I'll never be the human being she was. No matter what degrees I got. She dealing with Jim Crow Texas. And she's loving my mother. And she's loving Uncle Nick. And she's loving Aunt Payne. And my mother didn't pass on that love to me. And the only reason I have an education is because the masses of black people engage in rebellion and put pressure on the system in such a way you got to allow some of these black folk to go to these white institutions. But when you get in there, if all you can do is just be concerned about your individual agenda and your personal project and lose sight of the people who made it possible for you to be where you are, then you're going to end up with a younger generation that's lost. But the good news is that All of our young folk ain't lost. Brother Ali ain't lost. He ain't lost. Y'all can have this wonderful exchange in terms of trying to make sure you protect, respect, and correct. But Brother Ali, you part of the younger generation? Are you part of the younger generation? 43, that's young to me. I'm 70-something now, brother. And I love your smile too, brother. I love your smile, man. You smile, the whole cosmos just opens up. You know that, though, brother. But you are not lost. So anytime we have a critique, we always got to be able to account for ourselves. It's very important. Everybody in this room is in some way a force for good. You wouldn't be here. And most of you all, unlike me, are fully in your right mind. I'm on the party. Pray for me now. Pray for me. Oh, indeed, because you never know when you can snap. You know, you just don't know. There's nothing but the Holy Ghost holding me together, but we won't get theological at the moment. But the crucial thing is that we got enough folk who are forces for good. And I want to thank my dear brother Bashir Jones for naming this for me. This is a magnificent gathering and event, my brother. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
One more last statement, and then Senator Turner will close us out.
All right. I had a few questions to ask, but I'm going to limit the questions. One question that I was concerned about is the historic utility of third parties in elections, because it's either a Democrat or Republican that traditionally gets elected. And I heard you say that you didn't want to be president, but you have a reason for wanting to be in that position. I'm going to move that to the side and ask you a question about policy. Recently, there's been a significant movement towards cryptocurrency. On the floor of the House and the floor of the Senate, they're having debates about that, and it's moving towards that. Larry Fink is he runs the world's largest asset managing company, and they're into Bitcoin. They got an ETF approved, and they're in that market. And at the same time, the American public is dealing with inflation. They're dealing with wages that are stagnant, and they're not being able to keep up with these things that are going on. In light of the fact that cryptocurrency represents such a tremendous opportunity to build and acquire wealth, I wonder what your position is on cryptocurrency, the regulation of it, and the implementation of it. And I also wanted to know what your position on central bank digital currencies is.
You waited till the very end to raise that question. Lord have mercy. We'd have to steal away and have a seminar to be able to get at that question. But first I want to be very clear. Now, when I said I was running for justice and then running for Jesus and now running for president as subordinate to those, I didn't say I don't want to be president. I say that's not my primary desire. I want to be a servant of the people. And presidency is a means to an end. Anybody who runs for any office and it's just the end, you know you already got a problem. And that's true almost for any job. If you don't go in with a sense of service, you already can be easily co-opted, you see. So I want to be clear about that. The second question is that for me, whatever currency that we're talking about, if it is under the aegis and authority of short-term gain in capitalist processes that leave out satisfying the basic needs of poor and working people, then I'm highly suspicious of it.
That's right. Me too.
So that's the starting point of the long seminar that we would have to have in that regard. But we have to be willing to explore all of the possibilities for empowering poor and working people in this discussion in regard to these various currencies. Because what is distinctive is you got elites in both contexts of whatever currency that already are bringing their particular wealth and want to try to convince other folk to get in on some of the wealth. But it's still in so many ways crumbs if there's not public authority to have some control and regulation of whatever currency or forms of wealth that are being produced. That's my moral compass that I would have in terms of always putting poor and working people as those the great Sly Stone called everyday people at the very center of our vision.
Dr. Westman, I want to say to you, man, that we really appreciate your time. Time is something that we can't ever get back. I want to have Senator Nina Turner come up here and just say a few words to close us out. Senator Turner, please make some noise for Senator Nina Turner.
Thank you, Brother Bashir, and Imam, thank you. It's wonderful to be at the first. To my dad that is in the house, Daddy, stand up please. I want everybody to recognize my father is here and is a member. My first Quran was given to me by my dad. You know, a sister from California, Dr. Yushra, shared a quote with me. She said it comes from the fourth Imam in the succession after Prophet Muhammad, Imam Ali, who said the following: people are of two kinds, either a brother to you in religion or an equal to you in creation. A brother to you in religion or equal to you in creation. So how can we on God's green earth allow any forces that do not respect the position that we all occupy as being creations of an almighty God, that we are all equal in creation? On Dr. West's literature, and I've traveled all over the country with Dr. West. We were on the presidential campaign twice, supporting the person that we thought and still believe would have been the best person for the United States of America to be the president of the United States of America. You're not going to find anybody perfect, but when we lined up what public policy can do in the face of showing that you love the least of these, our sisters and our brothers, that person in 2016 and that person in 2020 was the person. But here we are in 2024 with a whole nother calculus. And we have Dr. Cornel West, who decided not to run in either one of the duopolies, which I had a conversation with Dr. West about that, from a tactical perspective.
Yes, we did.
Not that I'm in love with either one, even though I am a part of one. I'm in it, but not of it. Hello? I'm a free sister. But for utility, I wanted Dr. West to run as a Democrat, just for utility. And Dr. West said, I can't do either one. And here he is running true to who he is as an independent. And in terms of the love that young people have for Dr. West, I was introduced to Dr. West when I was younger. I'm still younger, Jason. Hello. So I want to close with this. You know, Dr. West has true love, true justice and love on his literature. There's not many people running for any office that would have truth, justice, and love. So I want to share two quotes with you. One came from my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, and the other one came from a priest. Now, I'm a Baptist-Costal, like Dr. West, but I visit other religions from time to time. But my grandmother once said that you could put truth in the river 5 days after lie, but truth gonna catch up. The truth is caught up with us in the United States of America and in the world. The decay that we have allowed to ripple generation after generation has caught up with us. I think Minister Malcolm X described it this way: the chickens gonna come home to roost. Now, the second about truth, I was attending a Catholic church as a Baptist-Costal. I was a little nervous. But one of my brothers invited me to worship with him, and I went there. This was in Chi-Town. And the priest told the story this way. Now, I'm going to embellish it a little bit because I'm going to put some Turnerism on it. And Mom, I got to put some Turnerism on that. But Father Jones told a story about truth and lie going for a swim. Now, my Turnerism is that truth and lie was skinny dipping.
And lie does what lie does. Truth is in the ocean swimming his heart out. He's looking to the left and looking to the right, and he sees that lie never got in the water because lie does, what lie does. Lie. While truth was busy swimming, lie decided to put on the garment of truth and walk back in the city. Now the people in the city knew it was lie, but then nobody wanted to say nothing. They knew that lie had donned the clothing of truth, but nobody had the courage to say a mumbling word, because lie does what lie does. Lie lies. When truth made it back to shore, he analyzed the situation. He said, truth and did what lie has done what lie does. Lie. Truth could not put on the clothing of lie, so truth had to go back into the city naked, and people had to behold the naked truth. See, it's something there. Catch up with me. If you're not catching what I'm putting down, truth had to walk through the city, and people had to behold the naked truth. The naked truth today is that we have too many political and religious leaders who have failed us. The naked truth is 60% of the American people live paycheck to paycheck. The naked truth is that we, as a hegemonic nation, the empire, as Dr. West calls it, we could have had universal health care, but they'd rather spend those billions of dollars to make war. The naked truth is we can't expect the same politicians who don't care about the hungry children in Cleveland or the hungry children in Chicago or the hungry children in Detroit to care about the hungry children in Gaza. The naked truth. You can't ask those same people. We got genocide going on in the Sudan, uproar in the Congo, disruption in Haiti and Yemen, and here we are in Cleveland, Ohio, wondering why we can't get leaders. And shout out to the Cleveland City Council that came around and did the right thing. You got Councilman Richard Starr that was leading that. We got a Jewish sister on council that was leading that. But we got community folks that said to power, as community folks often do, we will not be moved until you pass a resolution calling on a ceasefire. We will not be moved. So all I'm saying, sisters and brothers, family and friends and frenemies. Minister Malcolm would address, he said, I know some enemies up in this house, so I'm going to call them frenemies. We cannot ignore the naked truth. And when it comes to moral clarity and intestinal fortitude, Brother Bashir, Councilman Jones, we know that there is only one candidate in this race who has the type of clarity that doesn't flap in the wind, that understands the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And that is Dr. Cornel West.
You gotta do a better job, man. Make some noise for Dr. Cornel West, Senator Ian Turner. Give him that Cleveland love. Give him that Cleveland love. Come on, come on, come on. Let me hear you all the way on St. Clair. Thank you so much, man. What we're going to do is, once again, we want to say thank you all so much for being here. I want to say to you that I truly appreciate y'all for coming. I want to tell you that I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Brother Ali, I love you. I love y'all. And you know what, man, doing this work in Cleveland, sometimes we have these struggles that we have, but I want you to know that despite what you may feel about us as activists, as leaders, we may not always agree. But you can't front, man. You got to have courage to do this work. You got to have consistency to do this work. You know, in hip-hop or in rap music, we say the shooter respect the shooter. But in us as scholars, we understand that the farmers respect the farmers. In order for us to be successful, man, you got to understand what it takes to plant seeds and the work that it takes in order to get those seeds to become a crop. So you may not agree with us, But boy, oh boy, man, it takes courage and consistency to do this work.
Yes.
And it takes grace from the community to have grace
Yes.
on us
Yes.
for those who have committed themselves to this work. So I want to say thank you so much to Dr. West. Please, can you give him another round of applause? I want to say thank you to everybody that came. So what we're going to do right now, because it's getting ready to be time for prayer, we're going to take Dr. West downstairs to the basement. And I love you, Kai. Yeah, talk to him, Kai. Go ahead. Go ahead, Dr. West. That's our Kai. Go ahead. What you want to say, Kai? Go ahead. All right, good. Give her some love. Give Kai some love. Oh, man. She can't say it. So we're going to take Dr. West downstairs here for those who are who would like to take pictures and meet with him. And just be mindful, you got a bunch of people. Yeah, go ahead, Kai. Go ahead. You can talk. It's okay. Stop for her. So you can go downstairs, take pictures. Of course, for the Muslims, we're getting ready to pray.
And t-shirts.
And we got t-shirts. We got t-shirts, also more donations you can make down here. But okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take Dr. West downstairs here. For those who would like to take pictures with him, go ahead downstairs. If you have not signed your petition, sign your petition, okay? Sign the petition so that we can make sure that we get Dr. West on the ballot. We close with this, God. We ask you to bless us, protect us, strengthen us, and guide us. God, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be together. We ask God to bless you all in your travels and what you're doing. Bless you and your families. We say all this stuff in your amazing name. Amen. Amen. Assalamu alaikum.